Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy and I help people with their breakups. And today I have another story and this one has a lot of twists and turns. But at the root of it is basically trust issues that started from the get-go. And when you don't have trust, it's hard to keep the house up. And what I mean by that, there's three pillars. There's probably more than three pillars, but three major pillars are trust, connection, attraction. And if you don't have trust, which is a big issue for a lot of people, that might be the most important and the biggest deal breaker as far as breaking up. So this individual, like I said, he said he's been on and off for 5 years. That's another thing. If you're in a relationship and it's on and off, then there's consistent problems that aren't going away and you're not fixing them. You shouldn't be in a long-term relationship where you break up, get back together, break up. That's not healthy. If you break up, a lot of times I recommend, if you've been in a long-term relationship, you need to take a breather and take a break and assess exactly what happened and if this is going to happen again and if you guys are going to fix the actual problem or problems rather than just get back together because you miss each other. That's a completely different thing altogether. The other thing that's mentioned in this story is begging and pleading. Anytime you get into a position with someone that you love and you've been with a long time and you feel like you have to beg and plead to get them back or to get them to agree with you, that is not a healthy relationship. That is really behavior a child partakes in. And I've said it before, if you want to be sorry about something, you could be sorry in a respectable way, a genuine way without begging and pleading. Because at some point, someone either forgives you or they don't forgive you. They either accept what you did or they don't accept it. But the fact that you're going, please, 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 it just doesn't help. I know when you're in that moment, it's not premeditated, but that's why you need, if you're in one of those types of relationships or you feel like that's something you've done repeatedly in relationships, then you should probably book a live coaching session with myself and get to the bottom of why you're acting that way in relationships. And it's probably a lot deeper than just you begging and pleading. There's some reason in your past, in a past relationship, a past breakup that's affecting your current relationship, and you want to get to the bottom. Why am I acting this way? Why am I so upset? Okay, so let's get right into this story. Hi, coach. I was off and on with a girl for about 5 years, and she was madly in love with me. Well, that's a great feeling. I am the first guy she ever loved. In the beginning, she lied to me about something small because she knew it would upset me, and I found out I was so needy. So he doesn't tell me what the small thing was. But the fact that you're saying that I was so needy as if it's past tense, I guess that's a good thing. And identifying the fact that you are needy, but why are you being needy? Because that is highly unattractive. After that, I started to check who she follows on social media, who she texts, and what she's doing. Bad move. That's not a real relationship if you have to check on all those things and don't trust the individual. I was in a way being emotionally abusive because I would get so upset if she talked to other guys as friends. That's an issue with yourself. That's high insecurity levels. And at some point you have to ask yourself, I'm not going to know everything. Why accuse someone that I love and care about of stuff I don't know the answers to? Instead of accusing them, you can ask direct questions. Or you can accept the fact that she's going to have some guy friends and you have to trust her till, until you find out otherwise. And then once you find out otherwise and your suspicions were correct, that's when you make a decision. Do I want to deal with this? Do I want to forgive this person or do I want to move on? What a lot of people seem to do is they like to throw it in the person's face over and over and over again as if they're vindicating that they were right, and it doesn't serve you. So, I was insecure and controlling. Not good, right? I always knew she would love me, so I did not put in much effort and always got what I wanted. Well, that sounds like a highly selfish statement, and the fact that you know that now means you need to change some of your character flaws. And I always knew she would love me is just not a true statement. The thing about relationships that people don't realize is they're not written in stone, even if you are married. There are things that come up, new jobs, new individuals, new friends, deaths and families, and people can change like that. So when people, I always knew. No, you didn't. You thought you always knew. And as you get older, you realize you don't always know. And that's part of getting wiser and growing with life experience. I started to take things more seriously now to the good stuff. Dun, dun, dun. Earlier this year, she asked for a space, but I begged her out of it, and she accepted me back within a few days. Well, if you begged her out of it, that means she took you back over pity. If she didn't take you back over pity, it was because she wants to use you. But in most cases, you're begging and you're pleading, it's pity, and that's not going to last very long, and it doesn't get rid of the problem. I did not know about the no contact period at this point and was dumb. Doesn't mean you were dumb, it just means you lack experience or you haven't been in that situation before. Don't be so hard on yourself. I wish I took it. Last week she broke up with me because she said she is being suffocated and needs to find herself. Well, you were begging and pleading and you take credit for the fact that it worked. Listen to what she's saying to you, give it space, and give it space to work on yourself because you obviously have some internal issues. I cried in front of her because I was upset. A manly cry. Did not beg, but couldn't contain the emotion. Crying's okay. It's actually good for you. And I wouldn't be ashamed if you're in a breakup with someone you very, very much love and you need to cry in front of them. To do it repeatedly as an act of trying to get their pity is not good. But in a particular situation where you are breaking up on the spot, okay. She says she loves me but is not in love and told me to not contact her and that we need to date other people. So what she's basically saying is she cares about you, she's still connected to you, but she's not attracted to you, as hard as that sounds. And I don't mean just physically, but the idea that you're suffocating her, you're highly insecure, she's had enough of it. In a week, I saw her at church and walked her to her car and asked if I could text her a question. She told me to email her, so I did. She's taking control of the situation and telling you how to communicate. Basically, she denied my request to hang out and said, I love her, if I love her, to give her space. Listen to her. I started to research. She knew I always had options and always chased me. But I started eliminating the options and only focusing on her. It's not just about having other options, it's about having other paths in life. Having a compelling future where you're working towards a particular goal in your life. A lot of times that's why people like university. The goal is set out. In 4 years, you will get a bachelor's degree in this. After that, you will do an internship. In 2 years, you'll get a master's degree. That's why university is popular. It maps out a goal with an end place and you get credit for it. But this isn't just relationship based. If you are solely focused on her, you should have some outside goals that you're working towards. But I started eliminating those options. All of her friends have Tinder and talk about the dates they go on, and I believe that is influential. It's possible that that was influential on your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend, but that's not your problem, and that's not something you're ever going to control. Her influence by her friends is up to her. A lot of people want to blame friends or family, but she still needs to decide what filter she puts on what she takes from friends. I got plenty of friends that I don't agree with their outlook on things. It doesn't mean I need to follow them, right? You really have to think about that. Just because they're her, if those are her friends and she's being highly influenced by them, do you think that you're going to tell her, oh yeah, I know your friend just influenced her? That's not going to work. So you need to decide, am I okay with the friends she has right now? Because the 5 friends that you hang out with the most are your average of your character, and that's absolute truth in most cases. So you really have to look at people's friends and who they spend a lot of time with, and yes, it will be influential, but what does that do for you by blaming those friends? Does that get your ex off the hook? No. She still needs to be accountable for her behavior, and you need to still hold her accountable for the values you hold in your personal relationship. And to take that a step further, once you break up, she's saying, you know what? I don't want to accept your rules anymore. Moving forward. I'm guessing so she influential. Also, she recently friended a girl that I talked to when we were not together. I'm guessing so she'd know if that was my rebound. No, you're guessing so you don't know. Don't guess too much. When you start to guess about potentially negative shit, let it go because you don't know. You're just assuming, and if you accuse her of that and it's not true, it just makes you look that much lower. We have plans that I bought tickets for that she has for later this year. Also, a lot of my personal stuff, my mind is using that as false hope, but I'm focusing on myself and fighting to get over her. Just take it day by day, my friend. And the first step by writing this story out is getting some clarity on what you actually feel about the situation, and getting someone like myself's honest, non-biased take will help you out probably. We were at 2 weeks, no contact at all. I stopped stalking social media. Good. I love her and I'm struggling right now. Okay, she knows you love her. She knows you care about her. And right now, it's okay to still love her, but you need to give it some space. And the fact that you're struggling is normal. You are in a long-term relationship. You're going to get through this. That's what you need to keep telling yourself. And if you've watched a lot of my other videos, I have a lot of suggestions that will help you through tough moments. Exercising, getting a new routine, again, writing out your story right now, looking for answers, looking for solutions. It's going to take time. This is not one of the, the reason you want your ex back so quick is you want the pain to go away, but you're really not fixing the problem. And this is an opportunity for you to grow as an individual. We go to the same church, so I see her on Sundays. I want to go to show her I'm not bothered, but I want to give her space. Go to church for you first and foremost, and it's probably a place that you actually probably find some solace in. If that becomes a burden, seeing her every time and hurting you, consider going to a different church for a little while. That doesn't mean you're committed to changing churches. That just means for 2 or 3 months, you're still worshiping your religion or being devout in your religion, whatever you want to call that, practicing your religion. And what's the problem with going to a different church, maybe outside the area that's the same, I don't know if you're Catholic or you're Christian or what church you go to, but it wouldn't be exactly a bad thing to go to a different place, right? So that would solve one thing. And you're not committed to never going back to that same church. You're just going to take a break for 3 months. And this is one of the things you do when you're in no contact is you change the places you always go to, because a lot of times you associate that with your ex and it makes it more and more difficult to stay in no contact and not think about the good old days. So I hope that helps you. If you're having a lot of trouble with this, I would definitely recommend considering doing a live coaching with myself to get to the bottom of this, get to some of the roots of why you were so insecure and really a bit arrogant about the situation. Some of the things you mentioned here, I know that she always loved me. I know I always had other options. This should be a learning experience for you. So I hope that helps you, and thank you for supporting the channel.